classic version. Woo, we're losing light, but it's okay. We're almost done. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 145 of the Love and Stitches podcast. It has been 3 weeks since I last podcasted, and I am missing it so much. I'm podcasting pretty much every other week / twice a month for June, July, and August. Yes, for the 3 months of summer. And it's mostly out of necessity, but I also wanted to kind of see how I felt about like podcasting every other week. And you know what? I don't like it. I miss podcasting every single week. It makes me feel like I'm kind of like missing something when I'm not podcasting. I feel a little more scrambled with my projects. It's like I need that check-in every single week to see how things are going. But that being said, it has been longer than I intended, and it has been 3 weeks since I last was able to podcast. So I have a lot to show today. I have several finished objects to show, several new projects to show, and I'm just excited to catch up. This will probably be the only true podcast of July because later on in July, I'm going to be out of town and out of the country, actually celebrating with my husband. We're going to be going on a nice long vacation at the end of July. So I will probably do something like a sock week, post sock week update. I'm pretty much only going to knit socks in July anyway, spoiler alert. We'll talk more about that soon. I am wearing a Sock Week 2022 shirt designed by Allison M. Clark. These are still available and will be available through July 18th. So if you want one, grab one. There's tons of other colors, different things, sweatshirts, all kinds of stuff. Also, I got my hair done today. So if you're like, wow, it looks so different and like you curled it. No, I didn't. I do not typically do that. Every time I go and get my hair colored, the stylist is always like, oh, I hope you have something special to do after this. And normally I just go home and like take a shower and watch TV. So I was like, okay, I'm going to plan it this time. So I record my podcast afterwards. So I actually have something good to do after my hair looks really, really nice because it never looks quite as good as this again. Anyway, that's enough of an intro. Let's get started with the projects. First up, I have a finished object to show, and it is my Unda shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson. It came out so pretty. Let me show the yarns and how much I had left, and I want to tell you about some of the adjustments I had to make on it because I knew I was probably going to have to shorten the pattern a little bit, but I didn't realize I was going to have to shorten it by so much, and I was a little worried there before blocking that it wasn't going to be big enough to wear. Okay, so here's what I have left of my 2 yarns. Not a whole lot. I think I had like 5 grams of this one and more like 10 or 11 of this one. This is the yarn, the main color that I started with and that I bound off with. So I think that's why there's a difference in the two. And these 2 yarns are a beautiful single ply from Trey Liz. Both are from Trey Liz. One is called I'm a Grenade. I think that's the one that's multicolored, but I do have a photo of these 2 yarns with the labels on them, so you can see in the project page which color they are. And then the other one, I think just the solid pink, is called Beautiful Liar. There we go. And since the project is done, labels are done. I'm gonna clear out some labels here today because my label bowl has been so full. It hasn't, like, all the labels just keep falling and falling and falling. So as you can see, I did not have much left over. I don't know what to do with these. With single ply yarns, I don't have any scrappy projects with single ply yarns. So to be honest, I'm probably not gonna hang on to these either. But if you have any ideas for me, let me know. I'm not really into like making things that I'm not going to use, like making an ornament or anything like that. I'd rather do something like knit or crochet project based. At least right now, no decorative things. So if you have any ideas for me, let me know. Okay, so this project is by Leslie Ann Robinson. It is a garter, stitch, and brioche combo. This is a brioche cable, something I had never done before, and it was really, really, really fun. It's not quite like a cable like in typical knitting or crochet where you're like crossing over stitches. You use increasing and decreasing to create the cables. It was really, really fun, and it held my interest the whole time. I really enjoyed it. So I had to shorten this by 2 repeats, I think, 2 10-row repeats. And so it is a little bit smaller than it's supposed to be. That's because the original yarns that Leslie used had almost 500 yards in them, and I just had regular, turns out we do need the labels for a second. I just had regular skeins. Mine say, actually, maybe mine were a little short, 366 meters. So I'm guessing I was even short of 400 yards. I'm not sure how to convert that off the top of my head, but I think that means there was more yards on there. But it still turned out really great after blocking. When I first finished it and like bound it off, you know, shawls are just like kind of scrumpy. They don't look great until you block them. And I was like, this is small. I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. But after blocking, I still have a pretty good size shawl. I mean, if it's not fitting in the camera frame, I feel like that's pretty decent. It's a very deep triangle. I'm not sure that's my absolute favorite shape, but when you put it on, I mostly wear my shawls just like, see, plenty to go over. I usually just wear my shawls like this, triangle in the front. It's pretty deep. I know I'm wearing like literally all one color, but it's like down past the belly button. Belly button's like right here. So it is deep, but then when I was trying it on, some of the knitters in the membership suggested that I put it over one shoulder like so, which I think is how it's modeled, and that is pretty cute. So I'm really happy with how it came out. I just love the colors. I want to show both sides and then we'll be done with this project. But brioche is so fun because it has 2 pretty distinct sides. So this is the one that has the colorful yarn as the knit stitch. I think that's my favorite side. And then this is the one that has the solid pink as the knit stitch. So kind of different. Anyway, this turned out great. I would definitely suggest this pattern, Unda by Leslie Ann Robinson. It's going to be linked below through my pattern. And then we were doing brioche for Q2 of the membership. And so we had a lot of people that made some of Leslie's patterns. We got to interview her in June, and the patterns that they did, I think some of them did, there's one that she was like really well known for, and like 2 people made that, and it's just amazing. So anyway, just go look at Leslie's patterns if you're looking for something brioche right now. I think that will really help, you know, whet your appetite for brioche because it's a lot of fun. Okay, I have another finished object, and this one I am so proud of. Do you know what it is? It's my Tessellation Tee. I'm definitely gonna put it on, but hold on, let me talk about it for a second. So this is a Tessellation Tee by Stephanie Aaron. That's the designer's name, by Stephanie Aaron. And I used 2 yarns. I think I went ahead and got rid of the label for the contrast color when I finished up the contrast color. So I don't believe I have that anymore, but this will be linked to my project page. I believe it was a Malabrigo yarn called like Eggplant or something. It is a deep, deep purple. I mean, even in person, it's hard to tell that it's purple. It's a really deep color. And then the rest of it, the main color is Copper Pink, Madeline Tosh, Twist Merino Light. So I want to tell a story. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change into this real quick and then I will tell the story. It's on. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, let's tell the story and then I'll tell more details about the project. So this yarn has been through it. I have tried to make so many sweaters, particularly crochet sweaters, with this yarn. When I first bought the yarn, it was for a test crochet that I was doing, and I did not buy the yarn that was suggested, or like even the weight that was suggested, because I was like, that's not gonna work. Like the hook size and the weight of the yarn is gonna make something that would be a statue and like stand up on its own, which, while true, was not a good tester mentality. So please don't do that if you're a tester for somebody. It would be better for you to do what they are asking and then give them feedback on that, like, hey, this doesn't work, so they can actually have good feedback for the pattern. Anyway, I made the whole pattern. It actually turned out really cute. I had to make some suggestions. Again, it wasn't very helpful tester info, but it just never really fit right. I think it was a yoked sweater. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing as far as garments in general, especially not crochet garments, even though there's a lot of similarities with fit in crochet and knitting. I think that they both have different qualities too, and so it kind of takes some time with those. So then I tried several other things, as evidenced by this. These are all scraps. Like some are for this sweater, as you can see. Oh, that's balls of yarn. Some were like little pieces. I think I tried to make something else. I don't even remember. Here's another totally different swatch, totally different swatch. Who even knows what this is? Here I was like, actually, I'm gonna knit with this. I mean, just so many different scraps and things. I don't even remember how many balls of this I had originally. I think it was 4, it may be 5. I have about this much left of like salvageable yarn. I mean, some of this was, you can tell it's like kinky, like kinked up because I had to rip it out. A lot of what I used when I was crocheting this was kinked up yarn. Anyway, I am so happy to not only have made something that was a challenge, but also to have this yarn finally shine, because when I try to take pictures of this yarn, it looks tan or brown. It doesn't pull the color. I think actually today I am recording much later than normal. It's actually just past 7 o'clock in the evening, and I think this is showing it in the truest color that it's been on the podcast. I think it looks really, really great. I didn't make this super long. Actually, I think I shortened it. I haven't tried it on with actual pants yet, but it is to like below the hips. I think it fits really, really nicely. I made a few adjustments along the way that I will talk about in just a second, but overall I'm so happy with this. It took me so long to make, and not really, I guess it only took me about 2 months, which I think is kind of on par for making a garment. It just takes a long time. It's a lot of work and a lot of stitches, and this was something so new for me. So it's actually not fully blocked yet. I've blocked it twice already when it was in stages, and I'll talk about that in a second too, but I haven't blocked it since I finished it a couple of days ago. So, Tessellation Tee by Stephanie Aaron. Let's talk about some of the adjustments that I made. And I did put these on my Ravelry project page. I'm trying to be better about that. And the other thing I've been trying to put into my project pages are the sizes that I'm making and my measurements that correlate with that. So for example, this is actually I don't remember what size this is. I want to say like it was a range 35 to 38, whereas my bust measurement is like 33.5, 34. But my hip measurement is a lot bigger than that. So this was good. I added in some ease as suggested in the pattern. Anyway, I'm just trying to put those things into my Ravelry projects to be as helpful as possible, because as I'm learning, I want it to be shared and so that you can learn along with me. So one thing that I did change, and this was solely because of gauge, I got stitch gauge, I could not get row gauge, so I knew my yoke was going to be too long. So what I did is I did some math, and I figured out, like, if I didn't change anything about the pattern with my row gauge, how long would the yoke be? And then I compared that with how long it was supposed to be for my size. So I think it was gonna be like 1.5 inches too long. And I was like, well, that's not too bad, but I probably don't want it 1.5 inches too long. So what I can do is make sure to kind of monitor things, and as I'm getting close, I could just take off, there's like some just plain main color rows after the color work. I was like, I can do that, that will be great. I just remembered something I wanted to show you inside the sweater that is gonna be harder to show now that the sweater is on. I might have to switch back into my regular t-shirt. So when it actually got to that time, what ended up being the best thing to do was to actually just take out an entire triangle repeat. So I took out an entire triangle repeat. There's supposed to be one more triangle here, but I figured the triangles already looked like where they needed to stop anyway. I was already at the stitch count that I needed because the last increase happened at the end of this triangle. And so instead I got to do some main color rows. This is all in notes in my project page and will make more sense if you're making the pattern. So I know that that may sound like blah, blah, blah right now, but that's what I did. I'm just sharing. Everything else I followed to pattern, except I did shorten the body just a little bit, but Stephanie's patterns are really well written in a way that you can customize things. Like she'll kind of say like, go to this many inches or your desired length, or like when you try this on, it should be about right here. So I really appreciated that in her pattern. I also shortened the sleeve because my yoke was already coming down pretty far. So I only added 3 total rows to the sleeve itself. And I think it looks good. Like I don't think it looks too short or anything. I didn't want it to have like baseball sleeves, which I think is what it has, but I like mine. They are a little tiny bit flary. I think it's just the transition from the color work to this, even though my gauge is just about the same when blocked. But yeah, I wasn't too sure about that. So here are the 2 times I blocked the sweater. Remember, I haven't done the final block yet. So the first time I blocked the sweater was after the yoke. I was majorly worried about the ruffling that I was getting, like I just talked about in the sleeves. I was getting it everywhere across the whole sweater. When I swatched for it, I did a color work swatch. I did several of those actually because I needed to practice my color work, and then I did just a non-color work swatch. I measured them both before, wrote it down in my project page, and then after blocking. And I thought that I might need to do a smaller hook for the color work and whatever the suggested hook was for the main color or for the solid, because that's what I often have to do with, oh no, the opposite, I'm sorry, a larger hook and then go to a smaller hook. I often have to do that in color work knitting, so I thought it might be the same. And after talking with Stephanie, she suggested the same thing. Stephanie is the designer, but it ended up that I didn't need to do that. But then when I actually was working on the sweater, I was getting that major difference in the look between the yoke and then when I had done like the first 5, just no color work rows. And so I thought, you know what? I don't have to keep second guessing myself. I can just put some plastic stitch markers in. I don't even have to transfer any stitches, and I can block this and I can see. So that's what I did. I blocked it and then I measured the color work and I measured the main color like on the actual thing, because sometimes, you know, our gauge is a really good measure. These are kind of small, but once it actually gets to the pattern, things can change a little bit. When I blocked it, everything was actually fine. So I just carried on in my same hook size. So that was time number 1. The second time is after I did some of the shaping on the body. So there's actually shaping. You can tell a lot more when I hold it up, but there's shaping. There's decreasing about right here and increasing about right here, which I think is necessary for this kind of a fabric that's not quite as like drapey. It's actually really drapey, much more than I thought. I think I am going to take this off in a second so I can show that, but I was just surprised by how much drape it had, being me being more of a knitter and just not having that experience with crochet being drapey. It's been awesome. So I was working on it and I was trying it on, and I had this huge, where I had done like the increasing and decreasing, I had this huge like gappy, shelfy, I don't know if you can kind of see that right there. I mean, it just looked like almost like a, I don't know, it looked terrible. And I was like, oh, this is bad. I wonder if because of the decreasing or increasing, whichever it was, all happening in one row instead of being gradual, that this is going to be a problem. And so again, I was like not working on the project because I didn't know. And I was like, wait, I can just block it and see if it blocks out. And if it doesn't block out, I will take it back and I will do something different, because I'm not gonna wear a sweater that has a huge hump in it. Well, it was fine. After I blocked it, that totally came out. I mean, could you even tell that there was anything, like any problems or anything at all? It's totally fine. So I was really happy that I took the time to do that, because it does take a couple days for this to dry, so I had to kind of wait. But then once I had it blocked, I also had a better idea of the length, and I was able to carry on. So basically what's not blocked on this is like the last 3 rows of each sleeve and like the last 2 inches of this, which I think you kind of can tell because it's like stiffer. Like this will all relax here. Okay, take one last good look. So I'm gonna take this off and show you something cool I did on the inside of the sweater. All right, that's better anyway, because I was getting a little warm in the sweater without air conditioning on or anything. Okay, so first, take a look at the color work here. So this is, ooh, crocheters, you're gonna have to help me out. I wanna say this is called stranded color work because it is stranded color work, but I don't know if it has another name. You don't crochet over the ends, you carry them in the back and you catch them when the floats are really long, just like a knitting knitters. There is something special you have to do in color work crochet, which is, what is it? Like on the last stitch of the previous color, you have to pull through with the new color. So that was something new that I didn't know. Okay, the other thing is that I was using a hand-dyed yarn that was quite different. So when you have hand-dyed yarns, it's best to alternate your yarns, but it's a little trickier. Well, it's not, I don't know. I found it a little bit trickier in crochet. In knitting, I now do a method called helical knitting. I'm doing that on another project that I'm going to show. But in crochet, I didn't quite know exactly what to do. So I tried helical crochet. I mean, this is what I'm calling it. I'm making this up. I don't know if this is a real thing. So here we go. Come in close. This is the inside of my sweater. Instead of changing my yarn, hold on. Instead of alternating yarns like all in one place, like in the side seam or something where it can kind of scrunch up and also like can look stripy, I changed where I switched my yarn by 3-4 stitches every single row. So basically I would crochet around to my other skein and go 3 or 4 stitches past it and then pick up the second skein, work my way around, go 3 or 4 stitches past the one that I had just dropped, pick that one up, and I changed them that way. So basically this got chased around my whole sweater. Sometimes I did 3, sometimes I did 4 because I could never remember. So it literally goes around, 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 all the way to the very end. I'm sure this is like an actual legitimate thing in crochet. I've just never seen it before. I've never done it before. I didn't look up a video on it. I'm just calling it helical crochet, and who knows? Somebody please let me know if you know what this is actually called and what technique I have done, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure I made it up, but who knows? Could have seen it somewhere. So that's it. Tessellation Tee is done. Very, very, very pleased with it. Oh yeah. Look at this, how drapey it is. It's so nice. It's definitely thicker than knitted material. So if that's the comparison, but like it's drapey and it's comfortable and I'm excited to wear it. I mean, this has just made me want to crochet garments more. I'm really slow at it, but I'm really proud of myself for learning how to do crochet color work, for finishing a crochet garment that I really like, and also for using up that yarn. So this project is just like checks all the boxes, and now I need to do my final blocking. Okay, you can really see the shaping now. I like it. Okay, let's talk about another project, and maybe in not so much time because the sun is setting, and this is bringing me back to when I used to, when I first started my podcast, I didn't have any lighting equipment. And I would rush home after work and I would like bust in the door and be like, don't talk to me. I have to start recording my podcast, because I would sit in front of a window and I only had until the sun set. And sometimes that would be like 25 minutes because I would be getting home at like 4:30 and the sun would set at 5 in the wintertime. So this is bringing that back, but I actually do have lighting equipment. I just don't feel like getting it out right now if I don't have to. Okay, let's talk about a whip. I have I have something on here twice. I have one whip, 2 whips you have seen, and 1 you haven't seen. There we go. Okay, so this one is practically a finished object. I mean, I still have a few hours of work left on it, but it is so different from when you last have seen it. It is my Twisted Tee shorts. The Twisted Tee shorts is a pattern by Brianna Lupino. So I was here 3 weeks ago, so I have done so much. I've got one leg done and I'm working on the other leg. The legs are pretty fast and I am so excited. So you might be thinking, wow, that looks really long, like from here to here. And it is, it's actually a little long for me, like in the front, but in the back, it is not, because I guess I need that for my booty. So I'm kind of curious to see how things come out. I've thought a couple of times about shortening it, like taking back the leg and making this part shorter, but I haven't knitted actually any longer than the pattern suggests. And again, in the back, this is the amount of coverage needed. So I'm so curious to see how these turn out. Overall, I'm loving them. They're comfortable. They've been fun to knit. So let's talk about yarns. I'm using 3 different yarns. Obviously, this one is a different yarn and using that on the bottom. And then this part is 2 different yarns that I have been doing helical knitting on. So the 3 yarns came in a set from Fangirl Fibers. I think I just saw her post this on her shop again, Fangirl Fibers. It was a 50th anniversary Disney set, Iridescent, Happily Ever After, and Celebrate the Magic. And I have a picture on my project page with the labels showing on their actual yarns if you want to know which one is which. So yeah, I haven't done anything crazy to change this, except I did not do quite as many increases. I think for me, my like waist to hip ratio is not as big as most people's. So I just did fewer increases. And I also did a different bind off, which I've put on my project page. I did basically my sock bind off, but with the twisted rib, and it worked really good. It's really stretchy. So I cannot wait to finish these and block them. They will definitely be done before the next podcast. I want to get them done ASAP so I can have needles all cleared for what's coming up next, which is sock week, of course. And I've got this project in a 3-skein flow tote. It's just perfect for that. Okay, let's quickly talk about socks, because that's all the rest of my projects here. So I am all gearing up for sock week. I've got 3 different sock projects started. This one's in this year's sock week bag with the pin. So let's talk about that one first. I think that's the one you've seen already. So my goal here, well, I'll talk about goals in the July plans segment. We'll save it for that. So I finished the first of 1 pair of socks. This is my perfect fit sock. It's just a vanilla sock with my perfect fit numbers that I teach in my perfect fit sock course. This is one of the Sock Week sponsor yarns, Olivia and Oliver, and the color is Baby Shark. Where does it say that? There we go. Baby Shark, and then the contrast is Bellini. So I've been taking really good notes on these socks because I've started 3 pairs and I don't want to forget what I've done. They're all different bases, so they're all different gauges, so I have different numbers. Anyway, all of that's on my Ravelry project page so you can see what each of these is like. So that's one. Finish that one, or finish the first sock of that one. Then I started a pair of socks from Yarn Over New York. Where's that label? Here we go. Another one of our Sock Week sponsors, Yarn Over New York. This color is Tiger's Eye Shark, and I have it on a sparkle base. So this is also a perfect fit sock, slightly different numbers because it's a different base, and I am working on the toe right now. So I am hoping to finish this one tonight. So I have a second sock done, a pre-sock week sock done. And I really worked a lot on this over the past week because my parents were in town visiting. So that was really fun. All right, so the last one here I just started today, and I am actually knitting a patterned sock. It's a pretty simple pattern because I didn't want to do anything too patterned that I couldn't like bring around with me during sock week. But this is from our final yarn sponsor. It's not gonna, does it not want to focus on this yarn? There we go. This is Up at Dawn by the Little Wolf Knits. It is such a pretty color. And I've got a mini that goes with it. And I've got that one wound, and in a coordinating cozy, this one's the Knit Mini Yarn Cozy, the 20-gram one. And this one's my new Crochet Yarn Cozy Light. But those are the two colors I'm going to use together. So the pattern that I'm doing for this one, because I was just getting kind of bored, honestly, from doing vanilla perfect fit socks. I was like, I want to do something different. So I just downloaded today, actually, I don't even remember what it's called. Totally Rad Ribbed Socks by Summer Lee. And Summer Lee is going to be one of our special guests for Sock Week. So if you want to join us and get to do an interview with Summer Lee and some others, then I will put the Sock Week events link down below. It's only open until July 9th, and then it's going to close because our events are next week. So last chance to get to sign up for that. So basically, I've just started. I was working on this today while getting my hair done. Oh, I really like how that's knitted up. I haven't taken a second to really look at it yet. I'm going to be doing a fold over cuff. This is not something that I've actually done on a sock before, so this is a great chance for me to test out some of my math formulas on a fold over hem or a fold over cuff. And then the socks are so cute. They have big, thick, athletic stripes, and then they've got ribbing. And then I think I'm just going to do the foot totally plain in my perfect fit formula, so I know that they fit me really, really nicely. But that's what I kind of like about getting a sock pattern, and then you can take the elements of it and then adapt it for things that you may know about yourself. Like I almost always put in my own heel, my own toe, but I got the pattern so that I could follow all the other things that I didn't know exactly how she had done them. So I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, that's the last whip, but I have one unknit to talk about. So if you remember from back 3 weeks ago, I had started an Inclinations Cow by Andrea Mowry, and I just realized I was not enjoying that project. I don't really think that I was enjoying the yarns together was really what it was. It wasn't the pattern so much, but it was mostly just like the time and place and that project with me right now with the yarns, with the other things I have going on. It was just not something I was looking forward to working on. I was just not picking it up. And so when that's happening with a project, I used to feel more obligated to force myself through working on a project. And now I'm a little more analytical. I'm like, okay, why do I not want to work on this project right now? When it was my Tessellation Tee, I was like, why do I not want to work on this project right now? Oh, because I'm not sure if it's actually going to fit me. So you know what? I can resolve this. I can block it. I can take that time and see if it fits me. I also took a few days off. That always helps me kind of analyze things for a project. But with this one, when I took a few days off from it and then a few more and then a few more, I realized it was that I was not enjoying it. So I bought the yarn. I'm holding all the yarn labels. I need to send these to my friend. I bought the yarn with a friend and we split a gradient set and then a Miss Babs. The yarn is beautiful. The pattern is beautiful. It was the combination that I just wasn't feeling it. And I was like, you know what? I don't even really know if I want this final thing. And so I finally got the courage to tell my friend I wasn't really enjoying it. And she was fine with it. She was like, that's fine. She was like, I'm really liking it. I'm still gonna work on it. And I was like, oh, that's great. You know what? I didn't even think about, like, just because I'm not enjoying something that I'm doing with somebody else, it's not gonna stop them from doing it. They can still do the thing. So it worked out great. I actually ended up, I was seeing that friend, so I gave her the rest of the yarn. She wanted it. I was like, would you like the yarn? So not only did I not work on a project that I wasn't feeling anymore, so I felt proud of myself for that, but I also was able to get yarn out of my project, stash, everything, without actually having to work it up, which worked out great. So I'm gonna take these labels and send them off to my friend because I totally forgot about giving those to her. But there you go, that was an unknit, off the table project. I'm gonna delete that project page from Ravelry now. I was just hanging on to it until I remembered to talk about it. Okay, I think it's time to share some plans for July. July is going to be a really crazy month. There is basically 2 parts of July. There is sock week and there is, for me, vacation. Like July is going to go by super, super fast. It's already the 5th of July today. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. It's already the 5th of July. Sock week starts next week. I'm going to be knitting socks from now until the end of sock week on July 17th. And then we leave on the 19th and we don't come back until the beginning of August. So yes, July is socks for one half and vacation for the other half. And I have 2 completely different project mindsets for those 2 periods of July. So before we talk about that, I just want to share the end of June, a quick stash update. I'm not going to do a full stash update like I normally do because I did an entire video. I did a 6-month stash update that I will make sure to link that goes over June in more detail, as well as all of the previous 5 months and just everything since I decided in January to eliminate my stash and how that's going. So this is actually going to be slightly different than what I said in that stash video because I realized a few things between filming that and the actual end of June. So here's what I do for my stash now. I do a yarn in and yarn out. So at the end of May, I had 31 skeins. And then I go what's come in and what's gone out. So I had 3 yarns come in for sock week. I had 2 yarns come in as a gift. And then I had 1 yarn come in for a project that I'm going to make soon. I had 3 yarns go out for the twisted tee shorts, and I had 2 yarns go out because I started the two of my sock week socks. I didn't start the 3rd one until July, so I'm going to put that in July. And then I had 2 more yarns go out because I gave my friend Amy the rest of my inclinations cowl that I was just talking about. So it's pretty much even for the month. I actually ended the month only with -1 and 30 skeins total for the end of June. So that number I think is the same as in the stash update video, but the way I got there is a little bit different because I realized some things between now and then. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about stash for July yet. I'll do that at the end of July, but I will say I have already been getting rid of a lot of yarn. My stash has already gone down, and not because of casting on any new projects except for my, oh, I haven't even written that down yet. I need to add that, my 1 sock week sock that I started. But we're here to talk about project plans. So these are my July project plans. I will probably kind of post them. I just did this yesterday. I'll probably kind of post them on Instagram, but basically I take my whips, list them all out. Then I decide what do I want to finish this month, anything I want to cast on for the month, and then I kind of make some plans. Typically this has looked like kind of going, okay, if I want to finish my sweater, for example, I need to do this many inches or this many sections per week. And then as I get closer to the end of the month, I might start breaking that down by day. I also kind of look at my day-to-day knitting and I go, well, I'm always knitting in the morning. I do 30 minutes of knitting. What project do I want to focus on then? And I just do the same project for most of the month, as long as I'm still interested in it. So last month, June, I worked on the twisted t-shorts every morning for 30 minutes. I got most of them done just doing that. I've definitely done some longer periods of knitting on it, especially since then, but that's how I got a lot of it done. So it is helpful. And then I'll go, okay, I have a more complicated project, I'll do that at night. Anyway, here's what I'm actually planning for July. I've got 3 whips, actually I have 4 now because I started a new pair of socks. But I've got 3 socks and I've got my twisted t-shorts. Of course, I want to finish my twisted t-shorts and I want to finish all the socks. And then I have a new project cast on. I'm going to hold that for last. So I have a pre-sock week schedule and a sock week schedule, and it's kind of crazy, so you'll have to follow along on Instagram for the sock week one, because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Shoot for big goals, and that will get you further than, you know, restraining yourself on the goal setting part, I think, and just going for it, and you can always adjust from there. So my goal for this week is to finish, this is pre-sock week. I want to finish this sock. I just have a toe left, so that's my assignment for today. And then before Sunday, when sock week starts, so I will have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 4 full days. I want to knit another sock. Where did it go? The one that I just cast on today. I wasn't actually planning to cast it on today, but I needed something simple to work on at the hair salon. So finish this one in the next 4 days. That one's going to be a challenge because I actually have picked a pattern that has more knitting in it than I normally do and more stitches somehow. But that's what I'm going to go for. That will leave me with 3 finished socks from 3 different pairs. So the first sock of each pair. So then during sock week, I want to finish each of the pairs. So let me tell you what happened last year. Or was this 2 years ago? I can't remember exactly, but basically I spent all of July knitting socks because I started all of these socks during sock week, and then I spent the rest of the month finishing them. And I have to say, it's not as motivating to finish socks after sock week as it is during sock week. So this year, copying a whole lot of you that did this in the past, I'm knitting the first sock before sock week so I can finish it during sock week. I feel like this is going to be much better. So basically, here's my sock week schedule. On the 10th, that's Sunday, can you see? And I do have schedules on my website too. I'll do the cuff of each sock, then the leg of each sock, the transition. This is part of the leg too. So basically 2 days for the leg, heels, transition. This is like the gusset, foot, and then toe, and then a buffer day. So that's kind of basically how I have things broken down on the schedules too. It's like, do the cuff, 2 days for the leg, 1 day for the heel, 2 days for the foot, 1 day for the toe, and a buffer. And then if you're doing toe up socks, it's just same thing in the opposite order. But that's on the sock week info page. So yeah, that is my plan for the first part of July. Then the only other plan I have is to start a new project by the same designer that does the Twisted Tee shorts. This pattern is not out yet, but it will be out really soon, I think in less than a week, and that is the Seaside dress. So this is a knitted dress. It's a sleeveless dress. It is all like, it's a bunch of stockinette knitting with a little bit of detail and some ribbing and stuff, and it is gorgeous. I actually got to try on Brianna's, and it was so pretty, and I cannot wait to make it. It is in 3 different color blocks, or that's the original design. I've seen some of the testers do different things, like big stripes. I don't know. I'm doing something else, and I'm so excited for it. So if you remember, I have this 7-color pink fade from Moonglow Yarn Company, and I have a lot of yarn still left over. I made my long summer cardigan, which was so pretty, and I made a cowl that was so pretty, and I still have all this yarn left, but I didn't have quite enough yarn to do the dress, and I also kind of wanted a few more colors. This is the lightest color, and this is the, well, let's put these in the right. These are the labels that I put on them. This is the lightest color, and this is the next one. And I was like, I think something can go in between. So I talked with Whitney of Moonglow, and she was able to dye 2 more pinks that go with this set, that go in between these colors. Oh, that's not the right one. In between, there we go, the first and second colors. And then along with everything else that I have still, because the darker colors were already quite close. That's why I keep them labeled, because in the skeins it was a lot easier to tell the order of them. But here we go. So now I've got 9 colors total. Anyway, those are a fade. I promise you can see them in the right light. So I'm going to be making a faded seaside dress with pink at the top, lightest color at the top, and darkest color at the bottom. And this is going to be my vacation project. I'm going to swatch it during sock week, get it started before I leave for vacation, and I am just going to work on it the whole time. I feel like I'm going to need to bring at least one other project, but I don't do a ton of knitting when I'm on vacation. It depends on what kind of vacation it is, not this one, but I just want to have something fresh and new and something I'm really excited about, and I've been excited about this dress for several months since I've seen it, so I can't wait to do that. So again, July socks for the first 2 weeks, and then it's going to be all about the seaside dress for the second 2 weeks, and that will be all of July. And that will bring us to news. I'm going to do a quick rundown of the videos that have come out since I last podcast. While I haven't been doing podcasts, I was putting out a lot of videos, mostly tutorials that I had for various things. So the first thing that came out is a second video of my sock tip series. So I did 5 sock tips for new sock knitters, and then the new one is 5 sock tips for sock experts. So lots of info in those 2 videos to get you ready for sock week. I did a 6-month stash update. So if you've been following the journey here in the podcast from where I started at the beginning of the year with my stash to now, definitely watch the update because I just go through everything in great detail. I did a couple tutorials for my crochet yarn cozies. Don't I have one of those here? I did a crochet I-cord tutorial, both right and left-handed. So this is the crochet I-cord. You can use it on other things as well. Come on now. There we go, crochet I-cord. And then I did a tutorial on crochet running markers, which is such a cool thing. If you crochet in the round, definitely check that out because it is a total game changer so that you don't have to use one of those ringed markers if you don't want to. And then I did a couple tutorials on how to wind yarn. So I showed in great detail how to just wind yarn with the ball winder and Swift that I currently own. And then I did a tutorial on how to split your yarn into 2 identical cakes for sock knitting. So lots of stuff for socks to get you ready for sock week. What else has happened? The Crochet Yarn Cozy Light has come out. This is the ribbed version. There's also a classic version. Ooh, we're losing light, but it's okay. We're almost done. Crochet Yarn Cozy Light came out, so I will link that down below. That is for 100-gram cakes of fingering or DK weight yarn. It's a really fun pattern. I think you'll really like it, and we had a lot of fun doing the test on that one. The Love and Stitches membership is now open for Q3. It's only open for a short time. It actually just opened today, and it will close on Friday, July 8th at midnight. So if you're catching this in the first couple days it comes out, make sure to sign up right away, because once it closes for Q3, it won't open again until October. So Q3 is right now, July, August, and September, and then we will be closed from July 8th until we reopen on October. I think it's the 3rd. It's like the first Monday in October. So if you miss it, you can catch us then. We're doing lots of fun stuff for this quarter. We're going to be working on accessories. We're going to do socks, like feet socks for the month of July, and then hands for the month of August. So anything, mittens, gloves, like anything like that. And then either head or neck wear for September. So a great way to make some things for yourself or to make some things for gifts. And then we're also going to do a sweater make along. This is going to be kind of like the fall garment make along. I'm not going to be doing a fall garment make along publicly this year for a lot of reasons that I may talk about later. So if you really enjoyed that one, we're going to be doing it, a version of it, a sweater make along within the membership this year. Okay. What else? Sock Week. That's the last big announcement. Sock Week 2022 starts on Sunday, July 10th at midnight. So first thing in the morning, whether it's midnight here on the East Coast or midnight your time, it doesn't matter. You can start at midnight Eastern time, even if that's, 9 a.m. Pacific time for you, it's okay. It's fine. We're starting on Sunday, July 10th, and then you must be finished with your single sock by the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. your time or Eastern time. It doesn't matter to us. I'm going to be posting a Google form. That will be the way that we are taking prizes this year. Anyway, all the details are on the info page. You've heard me talk about this a lot, so head to the info page and that will all be on there. But something that I do want to invite you to is our live cast on party that's going to be here on the Knitty Natty YouTube channel on Sunday, July 10th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. You do not have to wait to cast on till the party. You can cast on whenever you want, and then come join us for the party on that day. I will already be cast on at least one of my pairs of socks in the membership that I just talked about, the one that's open only until Friday, July 8th. We are doing a midnight cast on party, so if that sounds interesting to you, come and join us for that. We're doing lots of fun sock week things in the membership. That's it for all of my announcements, so let's move on to the life segment. A ton of stuff has happened in the last 3 weeks. I was trying to write it down and I couldn't think of all of the things that have been going on, but two major things have happened. One, we went to, Kent and I, we went to the beach. We went to New Jersey to my friend Amy's house and got to spend a knitty-filled weekend at the beach. We had so much fun with them. It was a great time. It was just really nice to like get out of the city and do something different. Toaster went to stay with the same people that he stayed with last time, and we got lots of cute, adorable photos and videos from them. Actually, yeah, they did a bunch of videos this time, which was really fun. So we just spent the one weekend there, which was an amazing time. Really, really enjoyed that, and it's really starting to make us feel like we are settling into New York City a little bit to be able to go visit people like friends and stuff outside of the city. It's really cool. And then the other major thing that happened is my parents came to New York City to visit us. They stayed with us for almost a week, I think about 6 days, and that just happened. So I took a lot of time off for that and got to hang out with them, and that meant I was working really, really hard until they got here to be prepared for when they were here so that I could spend a lot of time with them. We did so many things. We did as much as we possibly could. We ate so much stuff. We went to a museum, we went to Central Park, we took the ferry to see the Statue of Liberty. We saw Beetlejuice, which was really good. If you like Broadway musicals, we really liked Beetlejuice. And we just had an absolute blast. So that was a super good time with my family. Weekly wins. Oh wait, before I do weekly wins, just a quick update. Watching, listening, and reading. This is why I am wanting to do the weekly podcast again, because I'm getting lost of what has happened in between. And I like having that weekly check-in. I just think it makes things so much easier to see how things are really developing. Let me know if you agree. I finished the Bridgerton prequel 1. I think there's 2 or 3 more of them, but I decided to go on to another book, and I tried reading the second in the Discovery of Witches series. I did like the first book. I struggled with it a bit. The second book, I gave it about 2 weeks, I think. I got 25% of the way through, and I decided yesterday, you know what? I'm not gonna keep reading this. I used to not be able to do that, quit books. I guess I felt like I was still in school and I needed to finish them. But what I told myself is, while I liked the book, I wasn't enjoying it as much as I enjoy other books. And so I can stop reading the book now and I can go back to it later if I want to. I don't know if that's going to happen, but giving myself permission to stop reading the book and not feel obligated to read it later, but know that I can, is a really freeing choice. So anyway, I started reading a new book last night. It is called The Selection by Kiera, and I'm liking it so far. It's definitely interesting, and it is the first in a series of 5 books, which is great. I always like series because then I know what to read next and I don't have to think that hard and I can stay in with one author for a while. We've been watching a lot of different things, but mostly I've been watching old episodes of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I started it from the beginning, which is like 2005 or something, and it's so funny to see how different things were back then. One of the things that they said was after the first season, they were like, I'm getting like 12 emails a day. That's how like they were like, their rise to fame, like getting 12 emails a day, which I mean, it's kind of a lot, I guess, but most of us, I think, get 12 like marketing emails a day. And then I'm like thinking about the people now, they probably get like 200 to 300 like negative direct messages a day. And so it's just so funny to see like the difference in time and social media and everything. One of the other things the girl, one of the teenagers, one of the daughters of the moms, she was sending all these text messages to her boyfriend, and she sent like 400 messages, or no, the bill was $400 for all the text messages she was sending. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember when you had to pay per text message. Now we all just have unlimited text. We don't even know what that means. We just don't even put periods anymore. We just hit enter and just send a bunch of text to people. So I've been thoroughly enjoying that, way more than is probably necessary, but I love Real Housewives and reality TV. And I'm counting down the days until The Bachelorette starts, which I think is on Monday. I may have purposely not scheduled anything for the Monday night of Sock Week so that I can watch the premiere of The Bachelorette. We've been waiting for 6 months. I'm so excited. Okay, now on to more serious stuff, weekly wins. I'm really proud of myself for being able to take time off and spend time with my parents this week. When you work for yourself, it's really hard to not stop working because you always feel like there's something you need to do. And with the perfectionism project that I've been listening to and participating in the course, I've been able to really change things for myself this year, where I have a really good schedule and I like plan for myself and I know exactly what I need to do every day when I wake up. Maybe not exactly. I do still have things that I forgot and need to add in, but it's just so much clearer what I need to do. And so I was able to plan ahead and get things done before my parents came in so that I knew while they were here, I could take time off. What I ended up doing was I woke up early every day and I worked for about 1.5 to 2 hours every morning before my parents even came over and had breakfast with us. And then I spent the whole rest of the day completely guilt-free, knowing that my work was done and things were taken care of. And even if they weren't, it was okay. Like I had people helping me and I, like made sure to do this. It's the simplest things. Like sometimes in the past, I think I was just afraid of like even saying that I was taking a break, that I wouldn't even put an email like automated message. Like now I put an email automated message like every single weekend. Like I am taking the weekend off. Like I will respond on Monday. And it's great because I am communicating it clearly and nobody has a problem with it. And so even just little things like that, like those are big steps for me as a business owner. And so I felt really proud of myself that I was able to make that happen. And coming up, I'm going to be taking a lot of time off at the end of July. So telling you now, I'm going to be gone for the second half of July. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like as far as Instagram and stuff. I may still be on Instagram, but I may not. And I may not plan that entirely perfectly, but I am trying to do a better job at communicating and everything. All right, that's it for this episode. Make sure to join me on Sunday, July 10th for the cast on party at 12 p.m. Eastern time for Sock Week. I'm so excited for Sock Week. If you want to sign up for any of the events, do it now because that's going to close at the end of the day on July 9th. I don't know what I was trying to say there. And then if you want to join us in the membership, you are absolutely invited, and that closes on Friday, July 8th. So many exciting things going on this month. Thanks for being here for it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.